Welcome to Unbreakable Latina. Hi guys, welcome back to Unbreakable Latina. This is your host Melina. I hope everyone's having a wonderful morning and you had a great weekend. I myself have had a good weekend. My work week was long and it felt like it was never going to end, but it ended and the weekend came and the weekend went by so fast. My brother and my sister-in-law took off to Vegas, so they left my niece with my mom and I. And she is so much fun, but oh my gosh, shout out to all you parents. Like, I didn't realize how hard it is to have a baby, like to travel with the baby. Like, we went to a family party yesterday and we had to bring all her snacks, her extra clothes, like her little playpen just in case she gets sleepy. Shout out to you guys. Like, I don't know how you guys do it. I can't even imagine having a baby right now. It's a lot of work, but she's so precious. Like, she's so smart, and I've really been enjoying my time hanging out with her and just like seeing how much she wants to talk now. And she's like funny, she has her own little personality. We went to my aunt's birthday yesterday, and it was so much fun to just hang out with my cousins and eat and just make memories. Like, I've missed that. Like, the pandemic took so much time from us, and I mean it's still going on, but we're living a little more lately. Like, we've been getting together and just making memories. Like, I love just spending time with family. Like, that's my love language, quality time, and I just enjoy it and it brings me joy. And I hope that things get better so we could just go back to normal, whatever that is now, right? Like, it's been what, I don't know, 3 years now, 2 years. It feels like a long time. But anyways, yeah, like, enjoyed my time with my family. Right now it's Sunday, 2 p.m. and after I finish recording, we're gonna take my niece to the park and probably have lunch. I'm really looking forward to this week because I only work 3 days. And on Thursday, my friend and I, shout out Amanda, we have massages booked because treat yourself. Like, we've been working very hard and we just decided, hey, we need to take a day off and have some massages. And we're going to do that and go eat at this restaurant that I've been wanting to try. And then on Friday, I am doing my first podcast recording remotely with a special guest. And I'm super excited to have her on the podcast and also just to have my first guest that's not related to me or is not my friend like for years. It's someone that I just met on social media, and I'm super excited to have her. I love her content. And if everything goes well with the program that I'm using to do this podcast and record remotely, then it's going to be so much easier for me to have guests on the podcast, because usually I've had like my sister, my mom, my friends that live locally, and it's easy to get them to come to my house, and my studio is my room. So I can't really have a lot of people in here because my room is very small. But with this, it's going to open so many doors if it works. And I really hope it does. I kind of tried it a little bit with my sister and it worked. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm excited for that. Also very nervous. But like I always say, if it doesn't scare you, it doesn't change you. So on this week's episode, I wanted to discuss friendship breakups. I myself have had my fair share of friendship breakups. I've probably had more friendship breakups than actual like breakups with boyfriends. Um I used to think like, man, like, is something wrong with me? Like, I can't keep a friend. And truth be told, with age, I figured out that it wasn't me all the time. Like, sure, I've been at fault for maybe one of my friendship breakups, but the rest, it was just sometimes you outgrow friendships, and that's just what it is. It's just the way life is. Um, my earliest memory of a friendship breakup was my first friend that I made when I moved to the Inland Empire. Like, she was the girl that actually came up to me because she probably saw me being a loner. And I was like, hey, you want to hang out with me and my friends? And I just thought, like, man, how nice of her to just go out of her way to invite the new girl to join the group of friends. And I was just like, yes. And she was quirky, she was funny. And we ended up being friends from, I want to say, seventh grade all the way to maybe 10th grade. And then 10th grade, no, not 10th grade, maybe 11th grade, like my junior year of high school, we were friends. And she just started hanging out with like the wrong crowd. And I used to party when I was younger, guys. Like, I was a honors AP student, but your girl partied. And now looking back and I see 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe my mom gave me so much freedom. But she was very strict and like, hey, you have to be home at a certain time. But she would even take me to like parties. She didn't know they were like house parties. She just thought I would always say, oh, es el cumpleaños de blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry, mom, if you're listening, that I lied to you when I was younger. But these parties were flyer parties. Like, if you guys are from my era, I know a lot of you guys are much younger than I am, but when I was growing up in my teens, in my late teens, there were a lot of flyer parties where people would host parties and they'd have a flyer and I'd say like girls free before 10 p.m. And honestly, most of the time, I didn't know who was hosting it. And usually it'd be older dudes that were like in college partying with high school kids. But, anyways, not to sidetrack. My friend, she started going to these parties and she was the only one that had a car. So we would go to these parties and there was underage drinking involved. And I did have a driver's license, but I didn't have a car. And at the time, I believe that you couldn't, like with the permit or with your driver's license for the first year, since you're underage, you could drive by yourself or with an adult, but you couldn't drive with underage, especially not underage drunk people. So we would get to parties and she'd be like, she'd throw her keys up in the air. Like, she was our ride. She would throw her keys up in the air. She's like, I'm not driving. And then she would get like intoxicated and like we'd have to take care of her. Me and my other friends would have to make sure she got home. Then we'd have to get a ride to our houses. And it was just a hot mess. And it started becoming this like very reoccurring themes. Then she would get in fights and it was just a hot mess. So my friends and I decided to kind of stop hanging out with her. And it was very hard to stop because we would see her everywhere we would go. And but she was like she just like she wouldn't listen to us. We try to give her advice, be like, hey, you can't act like that. Like, if we're gonna go out, like, might as well just have someone drop us off. You can't be driving and drinking. Like, if we get caught, like, we're gonna get in trouble. And it was always a headache. And it just became so repetitive that I was like, you know what, guys? Like, I'm not going out with this girl anymore. Like, if you guys wanna go, so be it. But that kind of had the first like fallout of friendship. And we used to see each other at high school. And like, even I think we did reconnect like senior year, but it was always like on and off. And even when we were in college, she was still like kind of like that. So it was a friendship that kind of outgrew its lifetime or the chapter in my book. And that was like my first friendship breakup, where at one point we just didn't talk anymore because like got involved with like guy drama. Like, I believe like she was dating this guy and then I was dating, my friends were dating like his friends, and it just became chaotic and it was just like bad energy all the time when she was around. So my friends and I decided to not no longer hang out with her. We wouldn't really invite her places, and it sucked because I felt like a bad friend, but at the same time, it's just like I couldn't give her that energy anymore to take care of her. I had to take care of myself, and like it was just exhausting. Like, the nights would just turn out to be not fun anymore because she was so problematic. The second friendship breakup that I had were with the remaining friends of that group. also started hanging out with a bad crowd. They started doing drugs, and I've always been super scared to do drugs, so that was not my thing. Sure, I would drink here and there. Underage, don't do it if you're listening to this. Sorry, mom. Um, and they just started like smoking pot and stuff, and it wasn't my thing, and they stopped inviting me places, and we had a falling out one time because, like I said, my mom was very strict, so I had to be home at a certain time, and I didn't have a car for a very long time, so they would be like, oh my god, if Melina has to leave at a certain time, like you guys are, we don't want to bring you if you're gonna have to drop you off at a certain time. And then I introduced a friend to the group. And once I brought that friend to the group who I met in college, they just started kind of like not inviting me places. Like the friend that I brought from college was also had a mom who was very strict, so we both had to leave at a certain time, and I just felt like they would isolate her, and I didn't like that because I really was very fond of this friend, and I took her under my wing. Like I just felt like she was such a good friend that I was willing to lose those other friends for this friend, and outgrew the friendship again. Like that friendship just outgrew. We never spoke again, and then that friend that I brought into the group, me and her had a falling out, and that one I take fault in partially because we had a disagreement. I told her how I felt. She told me basically that I was overreacting, and I till this day I don't think I was overreacting. I think the way that she responded to the issue was that she hung out with my brother without telling me, and I thought that was a little weird. Um and I confronted her about it. I told her like, "Hey, like you were just at my house and now you're hanging out with my brother." And I confronted my brother as well, and I was like, hey, like why are you hanging out with her like without me? Like that's kind of weird. Like I don't go hanging out with your friends without you. Like how would you like that? And he's like, I had no idea, like my friends invited her. And when I confronted her about it, all she said was, I don't have to tell you what I do, and it's none of your business, kind of, from what I remember. I was on social media, and that's how I found out that she was hanging out with my brother and his friends, and I just thought that was rude because I introduced her to my family. I brought her to every family party. She was always at my house. It was a friend that I have a lot of beautiful memories with. She knew a lot of my secrets, a lot of my traumas, and that friendship breakup hurt me, and it hurt me how she responded, but I held a grudge. I held a grudge, and I should have gave her a second chance because I was just like, no, like I want nothing to do with you because that's what you think. Like you responded that way. And she tried. She did try many times, and I was just like, for me, it's hard to at that time it was hard to communicate my feelings and what I really felt. I just felt really betrayed, and I was immature. I had just I think we were both barely gonna graduate college, and I was just like, I'm fucking done. Like, I'm done with these shitty friendships. I keep giving my all to it, and it wasn't a shitty friendship. Not with her, but it was a big disagreement we had, and I just like basically was like, I cut her out of my life, and I do regret that. That's the only friendship breakup that I do regret because I did miss her. We recently connected like maybe a couple years ago, and a lot of people always ask me like, "Hey, where's your friend?" Like I'm like, "Oh, like like I have her on social media, and if you're listening, you know who you are." Like I did miss that friendship, but when we reconnected, time had gone by so long, like from so long, our lives are completely different. And it just felt like I couldn't be the same. I couldn't be the friend that I used to be because I was so hurt. And part of it is because I didn't communicate what I felt. And till this day, it's one of my biggest regrets of not communicating. And as much as I try to think like one day we could get back to it, I just don't think so. Like we're at different stages in our life. I'm not the same person I used to be when I was in my 20s till now that I'm about to be 32. But that was one friendship that really hurt a lot, and that made me lose hope in like having friends, because I was just like, I've been through so many friendships and I'm like, damn, I can't hold a friendship. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I remember I used to always say, like, what's wrong with me? And another friendship that I had in college, I met this girl and we became very close friends. She introduced me to some of her high school friends, and I ended up dating one of her guy friends. I didn't know that one of her other friends liked that particular guy. So as soon as they found out that me and him were dating, like basically I got cut off. And that really hurt because I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was history there. I was coming into this foreign group of friends, and because I dated a guy, I got cut off. I wasn't invited to her wedding. Um, I saw my friends at her wedding, and just because her high school friend had a crush on this guy, but like they just cut me off. And like I had no idea, and I felt so bamboozled and I felt hurt. And just the fact that over a dumb guy that's not even in my life anymore, if I would have known that like this girl like this guy, I would have never gotten involved because I didn't want to cause drama. I really cared about this friend, and she just cut me out of her life because of another friend. And I mean, they have more history than me, so be it. And if the friendship didn't matter to her, then why should it matter to me? But that one hurt. Those, like, I think those are like my adult hurt friendships that hurt more than my, childhood or high school friendships. My last friendship breakup was probably 5 years ago. It was a girl I met while I was at work, and we became very close. We even traveled together. We were kind of the two loners, and that bonded over being loners. And we hit it off, but the moment that I started socializing at work more and meeting more people, she was very territorial. And that's something that I don't like. I joke around with my friends all the time, like, oh my God, you're hanging out with your other friends. But look, like, we're all adults. You have your high school friends, you have your college friends, you have friends that are friends of the family. You have friend groups everywhere. Like, I understand, like, some of my friends are the type that I go out with. Other friends I just go to brunch with. Other friends I stay home with. Like, everybody has different types of friends. But what I didn't like is that she would talk so much smack when I would hang out with other friends. And I just got tired of it. And I was like, look, I'm not in high school. Like, I'm allowed to have other friends. Just because you don't like these people doesn't mean that I have to hate them too. Like, that's one thing I do not like is when friends are like, oh, I don't like that biatch, so you can't like that biatch. And I mean, if that's your thing, that's on you, but it's not my thing. I always give the people the benefit of the doubt. Like, some of my friends don't like some of my other friends, and that's okay. Like, you guys don't have to like each other. I'm not going to force you to hang out. Like, we just have different groups of friends, and that's it. With time, I did realize some of the mistakes I made. Like I said, the one friendship breakup that I do regret because we had so many memories. And I think friendship breakups are so painful because you have a lot of good memories. Like, they've been there with you in your hardest times. You have a very emotional connection with this person because sometimes, like, I've shared really deep secrets, traumas with my friends, and I have shared my insecurities, I've shared my fears, and you've been with me crying for this dumb guy, or you've been with me through my horrible breakup. You helped me do this, and then one day you just stop talking. Like, it's hurtful. I think it hurts more than a romantic relationship because in a romantic relationship, sometimes you know that it could end. It's either going to end in a heartbreak or marriage. Like, that's it. And with a friendship, it's like you see yourself. Like, I remember telling these particular friends, like, oh, when we're older, when we have kids, we're going to do this. I don't have those friends anymore. I have a bunch of new friends now. And it's just sad because you thought about, like, oh, when I get married, you're going to be standing next to me. And I wasn't there. I don't know anything about them. And these friendship breakups usually happen because you either start drifting apart, you outgrow the friendship, or you have a specific fight that broke the friendship. And sometimes you have to self reflect and be like, what did I do wrong? Like, did I do something to make us get in this fight or cause her to get upset? And sometimes you do have to self reflect. Like, if I could self reflect on the one that I regret, like I told you guys, I regret the fact that I didn't communicate how I felt, and I basically just cut her off because I didn't like her response to what I told her in the beginning, and I was just like, "All right, you feel that way, then I'm done with you." And this particular friend, she did try. I didn't try. I was just like, "I'm done." Like I just cut her off, and it was my style back then. Like if someone hurt me, it was my defense mechanism. Now that I'm older, I don't think I would act the same way. Like, I think I would try. And if it doesn't work, then so be it. And if you're having a falling out with a friend, it's just communicating how you feel. And if you need time, take the time you need. And if you don't know, like, sometimes I can be very fiery and I will just talk out of my ass, but I have learned a lot lately how to, in all aspects of life, how to compose myself, think about what I'm gonna say, and communicate it. If you feel like you can't communicate without crying, I can be like that sometimes. Write an email, write a text message in your notes, and read it over and see if you are communicating what exactly that friend made you feel in this fight to try to save the friendship. If it doesn't go well, then at least you know in your heart that you tried and it didn't go over well. And it's just another chapter in your book that closes, and that character doesn't go on to the next chapters of your life. A few tips on how to get over your friendship breakup is to give yourself space to grieve the loss. Be honest with yourself and with others about what you're going through. If you're going through a friendship breakup and someone asks how you're doing, talk about it. If you go to therapy, talk about it there. And just like you would mourn a breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend, um, do the self-care. If you like eating ice cream and watching your favorite chick flicks, like do that. Grieve the loss, remember the good time. Just allow yourself to feel the feelings the same way you would allow to grieve the loss of a romantic relationship. If you can, get closure. Talk to this person, like I said. If you guys can't come to an agreement, then it's time to let go of that friendship. And don't forget to identify what you need to move on. Like, if you, it means like getting closure, talking to somebody, sometimes you're not going to get that. You're not always going to get that. Some people will just cut you out of their lives, like I have before to friends. Don't forget to set your boundaries. And if that means, like, let's say you have a particular falling out with a friend in a group and you're still part of that group, but you no longer want to be friends with this friend that you had a breakup with, then set your boundaries. Let your other friends know, hey, like right now, I don't feel good enough to be around this person. Maybe one day you will, but let them know. Communicate that you had a falling out and that you don't want to be in the same place as this person because it doesn't help your mental health. And the most important thing is remember that you still deserve a friendship. And it's not always easy to meet new people. Trust me, I've been there. There's been times where I've even cried because I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I can't even keep a freaking friend. Like something is wrong with me. But the thing with me is that as I've grown older, and this comes with age, I believe, if you're like this your whole life, that's awesome. But with age, I've learned to be very vocal about how I feel. And if I don't like the energy someone is giving me, then I address it. And if I address it and it doesn't work out, I have a conversation, then the friendship ends. I personally don't understand how people can maintain friendships when they badmouth their friends all the time. I can't be like that. my current friends right now are very vocal about, like, if I'm overreacting, they will tell me. They won't sugarcoat shit for me, and I do the same with them. Like, if they overreact, I tell them. If they're acting dumb, I tell them. If they got in a fight with their husband, I'm like, okay, were you being a biatch? Then apologize. Like, I'm very honest with my friends, and I love that, and I don't think I could ever go back. And not a lot of people like that. So that's why it's not very easy for me to make friends. But the friends that I do have, I cherish. And you are deserving of a friendship. So don't ever feel guilty for ending a friendship, because I know, like, I've had conversations with friends before who have ended other friendships. And I used to see, right? Like, I have this friend. She knows who she is. And one time she told me, like, I don't know if I could give energy to this friendship anymore. And I was like, honestly, I never understood your friendship with this person, because I always saw how much this person used you, and I didn't like hanging out with her when she was with those friends. But, like, I wasn't rude or anything. I just, the energy was just not there for me. There was a lot of jealousy there, and there was a lot of competition, and I didn't like it. But I never said anything. That was friends that she made before we met. But when she finally started addressing, like, hey, I feel this way, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. Like, I know, like, I've seen how this person treats you, and I don't know why you allow her to treat you that way. And then I've had a conversation with another friend who was like, hey, I feel guilty because I feel this way. Like, my friends, my other group of friends, they excluded me from trips and from inviting me places, and I feel really hurt by it. And I've tried to hang out with them, but they never want to hang out with me. And I just told her, like, straight up, like, is this friendship, what did this friendship bring you? If it makes you happy, or are you just stuck with, oh my god, we had so many good memories, but now they're not inviting her places. And I just told her, like, although it hurts and it fucking sucks because I've been there, like, fuck them. Like, if they don't care about you, like, a friendship is a two-way street. Like, you look for me, I look for you. And that's how I am with my friends. Like, I don't see my friends that often because they all have different lives, but we always check on each other. Even we could go like a week without talking, but we'll send each other a funny meme or something. And that's how we stay connected. Like, shoot a text message, hope you're doing well, or if something reminds me of them, like, I send them a picture or a TikTok, anything. That's how I keep my friendships. But if they're not giving into giving me the same, then, I mean, what's the point? I'm not going to be stuck with a friendship just because I'm stuck to, oh, well, it used to be like this. Like, you have to recognize that sometimes friendships end, and you don't have to have a fight or anything. It just, you start drifting apart because your lives are different. But personally, I think if you want to maintain a friendship that's healthy, and that should be the goal, right? To have a healthy friendship. Your friends have to add some sort of happiness value to your life. If you have a friend who is toxic and it's always like bringing you down, then just self-reflect and be like, is it worth it to keep on giving to this friendship that is not making me happy? So, in conclusion, just know that friendship breakups do happen, and some are worth saving, some are worth walking away from, but don't feel like you are not worthy of having a friendship, because you will find your friends. And if right now you don't have any, they'll come to you. I am a product of that. I have made so many friends these last couple years, and they're very good friends that I hope that I have for a long time. But you don't know. Life takes you in different directions, so you never know. Um Thank you guys all so much for participating in the giveaway. I gave myself until today to announce the winners, but yesterday I had some time in the morning, and I manually had to enter um everybody's username from Instagram, because there's no easy way to do it because I had bonus entries. So I did that, and I announced the winners, and I will be sending their stickers with their gift cards tomorrow. And just stay tuned for more giveaways on the stickers. And don't forget to follow me at Unbreakable Latina on Instagram and on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.